What's up YouTube, this is Transmitter Tuesday and we're going to look at some retro transmitters and how RC bad boys used to ride back in the day. Today we have the Megatech FP-T2PDF made in Japan. So first off, look at that square styling. It's just great. It's so nice to hold in your hand. Fantastic to look at. The first thing you notice straight away, as this is heavy, so let's weigh it. Look at that, 714 grams. So this was going to build up your muscles back in the day, riding with this, moving it up and down, holding it all day. Look how that trigger fits, it's good. Nigel Brown, he was a bad boy. Let's just look at it some more. So you've got the nice chrome panel here. See if it'll turn on. It's turning on. Bit of a soft on-off switch, which would have been, sounds silly, but a high-spec thing back in the day. Instead of a switchy switch where you manually move the terminal, to have that clicky switch would have been a sign of quality reserved for high-end stuff like stereos and expensive things. So again, this was made in Japan, so that's a whole different level of manufacturing tolerances and quality control, not found as things progressed in the RC industry. Got a foam wheel here. That's quite degraded, so can't really speak to how that felt. But again, you can feel, maybe you can't see it, that's why I'm telling you about it, but that has got a really high quality pot and weighting to it. It's very precise, there's no play in it, no left right play, up down play. You can definitely feel the weight in that, and that would give you a sense of actual steering weight when driving your car. Possibly you would find that a bit too heavy, because that actually takes a fair effort to move it. But nonetheless, does feel really nice. It snaps back really well, no overshoot. And a nice chrome Futaba wheel there. Right, let's look at the trigger, hidden in the back, you can't see it. Weird thing here is, trigger's really light. That, in comparison, is not that heavy and doesn't feel weighted and as precise in the same way. The forward portion as well isn't great on my finger. There's quite a big gap here, and yeah, you might find that annoying, that little delay between getting back on the brake. Okay, what do we have here? A little adjustment, a neutral adjuster. Let's see how that turns. And a big screwdriver on it. Okay, it seems to have two positions. Nicely clicks between the two. How does that feel? Oh, that does feel better like that. Okay, not that much movement. Not that much resolution on it. And that has moved the trigger forward. So yeah, you've got more there. Alright. Maybe you like that in the... Let's kind of put that in the half position. Oh, that feels a bit too light for me. Let's put it back in the full one. Right. Cool. Okay, here we've got a charge lead. Presumably that's standard Futaba of the era charge plug, which is quite cool. We've got the strap. Everybody loves a strap. That's the sign of a bad boy transmitter, when you got that strap. Serial number. And some stickers that have worn off. Bit of wear on the bottom here. As far as the labels go, this isn't particularly too flashy. There's some right chrome bling emblems on some of these transmitters, and although this is a metallic one, it's quite subtle. Maybe that was seen as cool back then. Again, look at this overhang. There's obviously heavy duty stuff in here, because you can feel that weight, and it's not just where the batteries are, it's in the top. So if I'm balancing on my finger, it will tip down fast that way. And the neutral position is probably about there, which is about halfway in the transmitter. So there is some heavy duty stuff in the top here. Probably a lot to do with this quite weighty zero play mechanism. So what do we have here? Nice cliffy steering trim. Makes things easy to correct as you're driving. Just need that fast adjustment to correct the trim. You can get your finger on that quite nicely, right where your thumb is. Really good place. Right, then we've got throttle trim here. Oh, that's a nice knob. Can you hear that? Oh, that's nice. Nice knurled aluminium knobs there, removable with that little Allen key. And there's no play, no up down movement in these. These are high quality pieces. And what have I spied here? Another little trim wheel. I'm actually not sure what that's for. We've got this one. Maybe this was a DR one. THATL. I'll actually have to read the manual to find out what that was about. But that is probably an early iteration of DR ratio, which we have on modern transmitters, i.e. how much the servo moves in relation to the trigger. So between that trigger position and THATL, you could get a very precise control over that throttle just from simple analog trims. Ooh, it's a looker. Top of the transmitter, we've got a crystal here, and someone has stuck the receiver to it on it, maybe to keep it safe, but that was the receiver for it. FM 40 megahertz 3 channel. It says micro receiver. Pretty big by today's standards. But back then that would have been about half the size of your average receiver. Nice. The grey wire there for Futaba 40 megahertz. Ripmax, the UK importer, who painstakingly got their labels and emblems put on nearly everything Futaba that came into the UK. And here's the bit we've all been waiting for. The flap. What is under here? There surely is for the Elite. Right, you got your servo reversers. That's pretty standard. And then we've got for steering and throttle, ATV and sub trim. Let's get a screwdriver on those, see how they feel. These don't feel particularly too high quality. Standard type pots here, but they move nicely. Can you imagine at the track now whipping your screwdriver out, making some adjustments on your transmitter? Just wait a minute guys, let me open my flap, get my screwdriver out. But it's very satisfying to do, I have to say. Instead of scrolling through these menus and pressing enter and forgetting how it operates, it's pretty easy if you wanted to adjust sub trim just to set it and see it happen on your car exactly how you want it. And these I guess would be a lot more fiddly, but again you can get really precise control over your steering and throttle with these ATV adjustments. What they allow you to do is either have it, say for example on the throttle, not moving much in the lower range and then ramping on really hard when you just know you're at full throttle, or the opposite. So if you were in really wet conditions, you could reduce down your high ATV so that that throttle just didn't ever come in too aggressively. And again with the steering, if you're going into fast corners off a long straight, you don't want that steering to turn too quickly, possibly flip the car. You need to slow it down, or you could have it slow in your initial part of your steering stroke, giving you that high speed corner entry stability, and then when you just know that you're going to crank it over, you could have it ramp on. Or the opposite, for a really tight and twisty track, you can have the low ATV set high, so that little adjustments give you fast movement on the wheel, giving you a lot of maneuverability. But then when you're at high speed, you can't lurch it too hard because you've got it set low. So these adjustments back in the day, if you bother to put the time in, get your car dialed in, adjust these, this would have won you a race easily. Easily just off those alone, even if your car wasn't that quick, that good. If you just put in that effort to get it to ride right, it would feel so right how the car drove. You'd pretty easily be able to win a race just off those, I imagine. Back to the weight. I'm actually getting tired holding this. 700 grams of transmitter. You're feeling it. Probably had to do weights then to train for race day. Imagine holding this for a 60-minute final. Right, down here, got the battery flap. What have we got here? This type of A-cell arrangement. So you could fit those with standard NiCads or NMIH rechargeable batteries, use the charge port. But it'd be very awkward to fit an actual battery pack in there because, well, you can't get to these terminals. How would you plug it in? So that wasn't really happening. And then we've got this tab here, which I'm really not sure what that's for. Although I think that had a little screwdriver. If I remember from other radios, I think that has a small screwdriver that clips onto it, which of course is just what you needed when you needed to make those adjustments. And to finish off, let's just get some dimensions for your understanding here. You've got it at about 7.5 inches. It's a nice square or parallelogram, and 5 inches there. So all in all, a really pretty transmitter. Nice piece that. Nice to hold, nice to feel. Got some decent adjustments on it, which would actually really give you an advantage. Great styling. I love this grip from Futaba as well, of the era, really imitating a handgun, shamelessly, just shamelessly imitating an actual gun. Got with another transmitter strap point here. There we go. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Look at some bad boy RC gear from back in the day. If you get your chance to pick one of these up and enjoy it, I'd suggest you do. I'm going to try and clean this up and see if we can get it looking pretty for display, because this is definitely one for the collection. Megatech FP-T2PDF FM, made in Japan. So guys, let me know if you had one of these back in the day, or if you've seen one for sale that you've been eyeing up, or now you really want to get one. Put your comments below, like, share and subscribe.